Hey everyone, and welcome to Follow Up Magic. Today, we are going to solve some of your problems on the topic of follow up, as well as we're going to suggest some very helpful and super easy methods for you to use. You know, many agents feel frustrated, and I understand it, in their ability to time manage adequately and to somehow add all this follow up into their week. Every single agent knows that good follow-up will increase their income. It's just easy. 1 + 1 = 2. Everybody knows it. We're also going to tell you about our skill-oriented, affordable coaching program toward the end of this presentation. So, with no further ado, let's get started. I am Cindy Bishop. I am a sales performance coach, and I manage the Cindy Bishop Worldwide Educational Company. I've been in the business over 25 years, in fact, licensed since 1987. I shouldn't admit that. I'm starting to sound old. And made my living just like you, selling real estate and handling a business. I really pride myself now on giving back, helping agents know and grow, and helping them with skill development and feeling better about their progress in what they're learning to do. I really hope you enjoy this video on follow-up. You know, follow-up is a learned skill. A lot of people don't realize that. You know, and as with most skills, they're going to require some diligence and practice to be perfected. So please stop beating yourself up and start your journey right now, today, and just leave that past behind. It's just all stinking thinking, okay? Just leave it behind. You know, many agents I talk to think there is something wrong with them, and I feel so sad. They make excuses for their performance, their income, and usually their inability to structure their day even. You know, the truth is, all you need is a game plan that's going to work for you. Someone else's plan is based on them. You need a plan based on you and your strengths. Learning the follow-up success rules and mastering the use of some tools, a database, how to connect and follow up, and being consistent in how we begin is really what you want to do, because the fortune's really in the follow-up, and we need to get the success rules for follow-up down. Even if that's all you do, it's enough to make you an unbelievably consistent income. As we begin your journey today, we first have to know what creates so many barriers in being able to consistently follow up. There are 5 reasons most agents fail at follow-up, and they're listed here. And we're going to go over each one of them individually as we proceed. You know, now's the time to move any of that stinking thinking aside and realize that you can do anything if you only try. And once you build these skills, they're going to replace the negativity, or at least some of it, in your subconscious, and you are going to be able to do more than you ever really realized that you would be able to do. You know, Cindy Bishop Worldwide conducts a lot of real estate specific training annually. Some is in person, some webinars, and we also do coaching. We get an awful lot of comments from agents about their frustrations. Some of them are issues with time management and organization, poor lead conversion, we hear that a lot, or just even getting new leads. And many have said that they always feel like they're starting their business over again. I think we can help you with that today in doing a little skill building. The word no is number 1 on the list of why follow-up fails. We see no as such a negative or even a stressful word. But here are some suggestions for you to turn no around. At the beginning of really any relationship, in the people that you meet, or you're telling them that you're a real estate agent and you're getting to know them, remember that no is merely a maybe. Everyone says no first because they usually don't have enough information to even say maybe or yes. So we will talk later about an elevator pitch, but having a mental script on what you would say if somebody asked you about what your benefit is or what it is that you do without sounding salesy, being yourself is extremely valuable. And yes, you have to practice in front of a mirror and get the words right, and don't sales pitch them. You know, also anticipating the possibility of no is going to help you out a lot. Think of all the possible reasons someone would say no. You say no all the time. And I know you're not any different than they are. We just take it so personally. Do you open the door to a solicitor even? I know I do. And basically, do you shut the door in their face, or do you do it with open arms, or do you have a conversation with them? Do you say you're not interested, or do you always say you're interested because you can't say no? Put yourself in their shoes and think of all of the possible solutions to handle no. Since no is rarely anything but a maybe, remember that. And often a future yes comes along once a relationship is built. But don't ever get defensive about it, because it's just an automatic response. It's not personal. Relationships worth having are never built quickly, and you don't want them to be built quickly because then they're going to go away fast. So take the no with a grain of salt and think of it as a skill that you need to learn and be better at. The great thing about unlearned skills is that they're just waiting to be learned. So it's not that I don't know that, and you're beating yourself up. It's that you're just not learned yet. Maybe you weren't even aware that you needed to learn them. We've talked about an elevator pitch. If you don't have one, make one and have it kind of in your arsenal, in your brain arsenal, so you don't stutter. A lot of times when I ask somebody, what do they do? All of a sudden we could be having this lovely conversation that's easy and fun and really nice talking to this person, but all of a sudden they get stiff. It's almost like they can't relay what it is, and their whole demeanor changes. The idea behind this is to create kind of an overview of what you do, and it's supposed to only last the length of a short elevator ride, so don't make it long. Think about what you would want to hear from somebody. But having an elevator pitch prepared and practiced will sound authentic, and it's going to be relaxed to whoever is asking, what do you do? If you're talking to people properly and you're following up and you're building new relationships, like new right off the street, if you ask the right questions, they're going to ultimately ask you what you do. If you're being genuine with them. So too many times elevator pitches really come off salesy and stiff, and nobody responds well to that. Think about what you would want to hear. That's my key ingredient to this. Think about what you want to hear when someone you just met is rattling off what it is they do. What are you comfortable at hearing? And then turn it around and be yourself. Now, tracking tools for follow-up could be your CRM, a weekly tracking form. We created some of that stuff, and we'll show it to you at the end so you can kind of think out of the box for yourself. Or even a phone app would be available to track what you do out on the street. Obviously, if you're in your office, you can put it on your CRM, but always keep a record of the connections you make and the follow-ups you make. Otherwise, you won't remember them. You're only going to remember 10% of what you did. So every time you meet anyone, that is only the connection. That's not the follow-up. You then have to follow up via phone, email, a handwritten note, or even text. The connection, remember, is never made until there is follow-up to seal the deal. One thing doesn't work without the other. So remember that. Even if it's your 10th connection with that person, you always follow up. That's where the fortune is. So after sales strategies, their skills. You do the sales, you have all these strategies, maybe you send newsletters out, whatever, but the sales strategies are skills developed to reconnect with anyone in your database. If you only send one follow-up after connecting with them, they're gone. Instead, use a CRM to track what you do. I can't emphasize that enough. You have to record what you do. Send a monthly newsletter, invite your connections to events. Keep in touch with them regularly. Call them, email, text, stop by. But whatever you do, the connection's made only when you follow up. Too many agents I see failing to continuously reconnect. It's the only way to keep your database warm. Otherwise, it's a cold call list. And most agents really do have a cold call list as their database. And that is frightening. So make sure you appeal to those in your database. Find their emotional trigger. Maybe they like golf or pets or boating, whatever. That is a very significant thing to find so that you can put it as a connection in your CRM, because the appeal that they have for you will soar like you can't imagine once you tap into something they're very emotional about. You want to learn soft skills and persuasion and communication and listening. I wrote a book on this topic covering this stuff, and it's at cindybishoptraining.com, and you go to guidebooks and you can get it. Valuable tools. We tend to walk around lopsided, not knowing a lot of these things. Many agents don't have a consistent follow-up. I think I've said that many times, but I want to make sure I emphasize it. A CRM, a tracking system, a goal sheet of some kind is critical to the success of your business. No one can keep track of these in their head. I already told you it's like 10% retention, even on paper or even an Excel file, without having tools that make you actually be productive. For example, in our coaching program, we recommend Realty Juggler as a CRM. We like it because it's really easy to use, it's affordable, and the customer service is fabulous. And that is something that is missing in many of the others. A benefit of a really great CRM is its ability to send out emails right from the service. Usually your open rates are a lot better than like email marketing service like Constant Contact or whatever. I will show you examples of this later. You know, many agents don't have a consistent follow-up system, and without one, it's going to be very, very hard for you to succeed in any kind of business. A CRM, a tracking system, and a goal sheet are just some of the really critical success tools for your business. No one, and I mean no, well, there are a few people that have a photographic memory, but no one can really keep track of contacts in their heads, on paper, or even an Excel file without having tools that help you be literally more productive. Now, for example, we recommend in our coaching program that people use Realty Juggler. We feel it's affordable. We feel it has unbelievable customer service, and we feel it's easy to use. You know, there might be other ones that we've all used them where they're a little bit more sophisticated or they have a few more bells and whistles, but you don't need them. You need to do the basic foundational things in order to have a very successful business. Many of the agents that we coach that have become six-figure earners have literally used this system to actually make more money, doubled, even tripled their income. You don't need fancy, you need consistent. And that's something that everybody needs to understand. A great benefit of a CRM versus like an email marketing system is the benefit of sending out emails. It's not as recognized as something that normally sends out email marketing. And so usually the open rates are higher, which I really like. Later, I'm going to show you an example of our weekly tracking and our goal sheet so you get an idea of what you should be using. Of course, if you're in coaching, then you can use the forms we supply, but Otherwise, you will want to create something for yourself that's going to work. So here are the two form examples that I promised. One is the goal sheet, which outlines the goals for the week. 4 are usually business and 2 personal. The to-do items listed go with a goal that needs to be accomplished. So we're not going to arbitrarily have this mile-long to-do list. We're going to get them done in a certain order with a certain degree of discipline. So our to-dos all match up with a goal that needs to get accomplished. For example, database management is a goal. Under business to-dos, the first line item lists 50 weekly touches. And what does that mean? That means that the agent has to connect with 50 people in their database by phone, text, email, or stopping by. And for those that are not connected, with 2 follow-on follow-ups that have to be sent to them in a method not like the first one. For example, if they called on the phone and left a message, didn't get a call back, then they need to send a text that they left a message and maybe send an email. Whatever, that's why having your contact information filled out is so critical, because then you have all of those options. The bottom of the form has a place to schedule appointments with yourself to get your connections and follow-up done. Oh, by the way, if you do connect with a contact, that is called a connection. And in our world, we call it a significant connection. And then only 1 follow-up needs to be made to them, which is kind of neat, kind of a reward. We especially love handwritten notes for those actual connections that are made, because they're so rarely used anymore. Hardly anybody gets any, and they're always special to them. So that's something to kind of keep in the back of your head. The tracking form is to keep track of those weekly connections that you make and how you make them. Everyone shines in different ways. By tracking your connections, you will find out where you're having like better success, greater success, and also be accountable to getting the connections made. By recording them, actually having them there, record it by the week to make sure that you're making your numbers, which would be your significant contacts that we generate from working on a master plan and determining your average sales price, the earnings you get from your company, along with whatever your income goal is. So these forms are really the backbone of our coaching program, and those that use these really succeed. And again, it's a learned skill, so they don't start off knowing how to do this. Distractions that are allowed are such a big issue in any plan to have consistent success. That's why it's number 4 on the follow-up failure list. Most of us need to focus on whatever we're doing. Very few people can do 2 things at once. Distractions snuff out your productivity because it takes time to regroup. So you're losing time on top of having to get back into what you were doing when you're being interrupted. So distractions also lead to disorganization and a lack of planning. Block your time. Remember that goal sheet at the bottom? Block your time, shut your door, turn off the notifications, and control those distractions. You know, number 5 on our list, some people are just scared. Some people, even salespeople, it's hard to believe, would rather be invisible than seen. A tough way to make a living, I am afraid, if you're in sales, obviously. However, just be yourself. I learned during my real estate journey, it was better to refer than get an ulcer. If you feel you are not being accepted for who you are and you don't get along with the people, you're walking around on eggshells, refer it. Of course, you need good referral partners that can actually get it to closing. That referral check cashes just as well as a listing or a sale check where you're dealing with the people directly. It's a great reward for a job well done, because you've built another tier of your business. When I'm coaching agents, I'm getting them to understand that they need to break it up. 50% listings, 20% buyers, 30% referrals. Why? Because what happens if you're sick for a period of time? You haven't built that referral network, you're going to have a little problem making the mortgage payment. So you want to make sure you have a well-rounded business. And building a referral network, don't let one person do everything. Have many agents in different areas that have different specialties, so you can call on the right people. So structuring that business for maybe 20 to 30% referral money is really manageable. And you can actually make that happen by even looking for referrals for them in their areas. Having a practiced elevator pitch will help as well. We've brought that up many times. You might want to really get that ready. And you'll feel more confident having it. You'll know who you are. It's almost like having a mission statement or a purpose statement. My purpose is blah, blah, blah. This is why I'm in the business. Be sure to play out those scenarios of all the bad stuff you are imagining. That really helps when you feel that fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway. But it's important to imagine all the bad things that could happen and solve all of them for yourself, and then you'll create positive outcomes. This is going to help you control your environment, and you'll have improved results, I promise. And that was the fifth and final follow-up failure on our list that we had to conquer today. So I want to talk about one of our agents, Tony. She's just an excellent agent, and I'm just so proud to say I've coached her. She's just a remarkable professional, and she's team-spirited and works hard to help her clients and her other agents that she works with. She's a short sale specialist, and she negotiates short sales in Maryland. And I wanted to let you know that because it's hard to find really good short sale negotiators. And I also have one in Virginia that's really splendid. But she is just... I'm very happy to provide her contact information. I feel that it was worth bringing up because I'm following up on my belief in Tony to let you know that here is a resource for you. So how about some bonus follow-up ideas to use with your database? Literally, I could make a 100-page PowerPoint on all of the ideas there are out there to actually follow up with people. It literally is endless. So in addition to a monthly item of value, or in my opinion, the most important thing is a newsletter, and the follow-up that should go out from that, which is 3 days after the newsletter goes out, you need to remind them that they got the newsletter, and that's where the fortune is, and even bring up a couple of things that were talked about in the newsletter to spike their attention. They may not even have opened it yet, but they may go back and look at it. You also want to let them know there might be a holiday festival. You hope to see them there. It's something you're going to be at. Let your database know. It humanizes you. You can tell them about watching a movie in a unique place, like the side of a building, which I have done in DC. But if you travel a lot, a Where's Waldo kind of concept is also very good. It's kind of like an announcement or letting them guess where you're going next. Many of you already send your consumers emails when you're attending one of our continuing education events. Keeping in touch should be informative and fun and frisky. You got to make it fun, and it will be if you make it that way. You may as well, because you need to do it all the time. Be that resource, provide assistance, invite people to other events, create your own event, and just have fun building a strong relationship with everyone in your database. According to the National Association of Realtors, about 69% of sellers surveys would use their agent over again. Well, that's great, but are they following up? That's the thing. 69% would do it, but how many actually followed up so the seller remembers? Thought that was a very interesting thing to point out. All right, so you've got to be really proud of yourself now. We have just solved the 5 reasons agents fail with their follow-up. You're armed with these new tools and skills. Let's see what you do with them. So let's talk about what your production is real quick before we end this video today. Are you satisfied with your accomplishments? Are you heading where you want to go in your real estate business? 6 million sales were made in 2018 according to the National Association of Realtors. 1.3 million agents are about the number of agents that are on the roster with specifically NAR. What was your share based on that? It's a real lopsided thing. I look at the agent productivity in any region that I have access to that data, and of 2,000 agents in one region, probably 300 to 400 people are making any kind of money. Lots and lots of zeros on the list, but it doesn't have to be that way. With a little guidance, with learned skills, with consistency, with some help, all of these things can change. And your goal doesn't have to be a six-figure income earner. It could just be to make $25,000 a year, $50,000 a year. It doesn't have to be a lot. Whatever your goal is the right goal for you. According to NAR, the average income of a real estate agent is $41,800, working 35 hours a week. While the percentage of sellers saying they would use that same agent was 69%, many don't, because they unintentionally forget who you are. They don't mean to forget. They go out and buy a new home, whatever. Oops, forgot the agent because the agent didn't follow up. That's where the fortune is. That is always where the fortune is the follow-up. If you're not doing follow-up, you don't really have a business. Our solution is to get help. Our coaching program is excellent. It's affordable. It's designed for agents to be able to actually succeed with skill building and tools and guidance. We have private coaching and we have group coaching. Believe me, we understand your problems. I've been a lifetime real estate agent, made my living like that for years. I was a top producer. I built this program based on my success model that I had to figure out on my own to earn amazing income in this business. And it was a real exercise in excellent follow-up. So are you ready? Is it time for you to follow up to make your career better? Can you do it? Do you believe in yourself? Maybe you'll make the right choice. Maybe you'll really want to change your outcome. Dave, Gary, and I really want to help you. That's what we do. And we love doing it. So go ahead and sign up for coaching, cindybishoptraining.com/coaching, and see what you can do in our group coaching program. As you grow, as you develop, or if you're already a top producer, you could be eligible for our private coaching program. But you need to start somewhere so that you can have the skill and the ability to not have any more excuses at being the person you were born to be. You can connect with us on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can also visit our business building site. We have a tremendous amount of blog posts. We have a special report that is a free gift about persuasion at our coaching site at cindybishoptraining.com. And we're looking forward to seeing you work with us. Have a super, super day.